Can you force a forking square in complex chess positions? Imagine trying to set a trap on a busy street where cars are moving in all directions. In chess, creating a situation where your opponent's pieces line up perfectly for a fork can feel just as tricky. A forking square is a spot on the board where you can place a piece to attack two or more enemy pieces at once. This move can win material or turn the tide of the game. But in complicated positions with many pieces, can you really make your opponent land on that perfect square? The answer is not straightforward. In simple positions, forks happen naturally because pieces are close together or poorly defended. Knights are especially good at this because of their unique L-shaped move, which can jump into a square that hits two valuable enemy pieces at the same time. But in complex positions, things get more complicated. The opponent's pieces are often spread out, and they can move to avoid your threats. So, forcing them onto a specific square that results in a fork is very hard. Usually, you cannot guarantee that your opponent will move into that exact spot. Instead of trying to force a forking square directly, strong players work on controlling key squares and limiting the opponent's options. They do this by pinning pieces so they cannot move freely or by controlling important lines and diagonals. This way, they create a situation where the opponent has fewer safe squares to move to, making a fork more likely. For example, if you threaten to attack a piece with your knight and your queen at the same time, your opponent might be forced to move a piece onto a square that you can then attack with a different piece. Recognizing potential forking squares is a skill that improves with practice. Look for patterns where two or more of your opponent's pieces are aligned or on the same color squares. Knights are limited to certain color complexes, so spotting to enemy pieces on the same color as the knight's landing square can give you a clue. Sometimes, you can set up a sequence of moves that lures the opponent's pieces into a vulnerable position. This might involve sacrificing a pawn or making a move that forces the opponent to respond in a predictable way. In complex games, it's often about creating a chain of threats and forcing your opponent to respond. You might make a move that looks like a simple attack but actually sets a trap for a future fork. This requires careful calculation and patience. Keep in mind that trying to force a forking square can be risky. If your opponent sees your plan, they might avoid the trap altogether or even counterattack. So, while you cannot always guarantee to force a forking square in complicated positions, you can increase the chances by controlling key areas, setting traps, and making threats that limit your opponent's safe moves. Recognizing these opportunities and knowing how to set them up is a big part of mastering tactical play in chess.